In 1600, a group of London merchants walked into the office of Queen Elizabeth I with a simple request. They wanted permission to trade spices. That's it. Spices, no armies, no governors, no tax collectors, just merchants, just trade. 150 years later, that same organization controlled the largest army on the Asian continent. It collected taxes from 200 million people. It fought wars. It rewrote laws. It imprisoned kings. No government elected it. No constitution authorized it. No citizens voted for it. It was a corporation, publicly traded on the London Stock Exchange. And it didn't conquer India with swords. It conquered India with money. To understand what happened, you need to understand what India was. In 1600, the Mughal Empire was one of the wealthiest states on earth. Emperor Akbar's treasury made the English crown look like a village savings account. India produced roughly 25% of the world's GDP. Its textile industry was centuries ahead of anything Europe could manufacture. Muslin from Dhaka, silk from Bengal, cotton from Gujarat. These weren't luxury goods for the rich. They were the global standard. Every merchant in London, Amsterdam, and Lisbon wanted Indian cloth. The problem was distance. The route through the Middle East was controlled by the Ottoman Empire. Portuguese ships dominated the African sea route. Getting Indian goods to England was expensive, dangerous, and politically complicated. So a group of 218 London merchants did what merchants always do when the system blocks them. They built a new one. On December 31st, 1600, Queen Elizabeth I signed a royal charter granting the East India Company a monopoly on all English trade east of the Cape of Good Hope. This document was not remarkable because it authorized trade. Monarchs had no government elected it, no constitution authorized it, no citizens voted for it. It was a corporation, publicly traded on the London Stock Exchange. And it didn't conquer India with swords. It conquered India with money. Eyes trade for centuries. It was remarkable because of one specific legal innovation. For the first time, investors could buy shares in the company without risking their personal fortunes if the venture failed. Lose your investment 2014. Yes, lose your house, your land, your family savings. 2014, no. This was revolutionary. Suddenly, risk became manageable. Suddenly, capital flowed in from people who would never set foot on a ship. A nobleman in Yorkshire could invest in a voyage to Calcutta the same way a modern investor buys stock in Amazon. The company pooled capital on a scale no individual merchant could match. It bought bigger ships, hired better navigators, survived losses that would have bankrupted private traders. And crucially, 2014, it reinvested. Every profitable voyage funded the next. Every new trading post expanded the network. The corporate structure didn't just organize trade, it compounded it. Here is where most people misunderstand the story. The East India Company did not arrive in India as a conqueror. It arrived as a supplicant. In 1608, company captain William Hawkins sailed to the court of Emperor Jahangir in Agra. He came bearing gifts and letters. He was politely dismissed. The Mughals didn't need English trade. They already had the world. The company tried again and again. For decades, it operated from small coastal trading posts, thus 2014 called factories. Thus 2014 with the permission of local rulers. It paid customs duties. It negotiated agreements. It behaved mostly like a guest. But underneath that deference was a calculation. The company was studying the system. It was learning which local rulers were in conflict with each other, which governors were underpaid, which nobles were in debt, where the fractures were. This is the part that business schools don't teach. The East India Company's greatest weapon in its early decades wasn't military force. It was financial intelligence. It knew who needed money, and it made itself indispensable to those people. By the early 18th century, the Mughal Empire was fracturing. Aurangzeb's aggressive expansion had overextended the empire. After his death in 1707, the throne changed hands rapidly. Regional governors, RU 2014, the Nawabs, RU 2014, began functioning as independent rulers. The empire's center could no longer hold the periphery together, and into that vacuum stepped the company, not as a conqueror. Not, he was politely dismissed. The Mughals didn't need English trade. They already had the world. The company tried, and he was politely dismissed. The Mughals didn't need English trade. They already had the world. The company tried, so he was politely dismissed. The Mughals didn't need English trade. They already had the world. The company tried again, gain da'ain, yet as a creditor. Regional rulers needed money to fund armies, pay officials, maintain loyalty. The company had cash. It offered loans. It offered credit lines. It financed both sides of local conflicts when the situation demanded it. And here is the mechanism that most histories gloss over. Every loan came with conditions, trade concessions, tax exemptions, territorial access. A small loan today meant a larger obligation tomorrow. This is not unique to India. This is how financial power has always operated throughout history. You don't need an army when you control someone's balance sheet. The decisive moment came in 1757. The Nawab of Bengal, Siraj ud-Dawla, understood what was happening. He watched the company fortify its trading post in Calcutta without permission. He saw the financial web tightening around him. He attacked. The company responded at the Battle of Plassey. But Plassey wasn't won by military superiority alone. It was won because the company had already purchased the loyalty of the Nawab's own military commander, Duke 2014 Mir Jafar, Duke 2014 with a promise of the throne. The battle lasted a few hours. Bengal, one of the wealthiest provinces in Asia, fell, and what the company did next changed everything. After Plassey, the company didn't just trade in Bengal, it became the government of Bengal. In 1765, it was granted the Diwani-Uriyu 2014 the right to collect taxes across Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa, a territory of 40 million people. Think carefully about what this means. A private corporation, answerable to shareholders in London, now had the power to tax an entire civilization. The revenues were staggering. In the first year alone, the company extracted roughly 32.5 million from Bengal, Drew 2014 equivalent to billions in today's money. But here is the detail that reveals the true nature of what happened. That revenue was not reinvested in Bengal. It was used to buy Indian goods, Ahwaru 2014 textiles, spices, saltpeter Huru 2014, which were then sold in global markets for profit. The company was not trading with India. It was using India's own wealth to purchase India's own products. Goods left. Silver didn't. The decisive moment came in 1757. The Nawab of Bengal, Siraj ud-Dawla, understood what was happening. He watched the company fortify its trading post in Calcutta without permission, arrived to replace them. Bengal's economy began to bleed. In 1770, famine struck Bengal. Estimates suggest that between 7 and 10 million people died due to 2014 to roughly one-third of Bengal's population. The company's tax collection did not stop during the famine. In some areas, collections actually increased. The shareholders in London received their dividends. What happened in Bengal was not an accident, it was a template. The same mechanism Uriyu 2014 financial dependency.